You ever find yourself asking, should I wait until prices come down? Or maybe the rates come down? Or what if the interest rates go up? I'm Quann, and today we're going to be tackling one of the biggest questions in real estate. Is now a good time to buy? Stick around because we're going to be going over why really you being prepared is the key to buying a house more than worrying about the market chatter. So now with me being 12 years in business, you don't understand how many times I've had consumers, people I know, that have just came up and said, you can't buy right now, the market's gonna crash. And with the market being so high right now, I can understand why you come up with that. But I heard that in 17. I heard that in 19 that I can remember. Obviously 2020 and 2021, we all thought something crazy might happen during like that COVID market. But here we are. And if you missed out on those times to buy, you'd been hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity that you would have missed. Here's the deal about the market. Interest rates change, the market changes, and experts never get it right. The same people that predicted the 2008 crash have also predicted 10 or 15 more crashes since then and have not been right on any of them. And here's the deal. No one really knows what the market is going to do or what could bring it down or up with 100% accuracy. So my overall goal, instead of aiming for like the lowest price, we should focus on you and the payment and what you can afford. All right, so we need to focus on you. And it really comes into three things: job security, savings, and budget, and also your long-term plans. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And I can vividly remember a couple coming up to me and saying, this would have been maybe 2020, that, hey, we should wait until we see what this market's going to do, because really we had no clue at that point. And I agreed with them. They were good friends of mine, and I agreed that, yeah, maybe you should just hold this out. I'm here if you need me, but yeah, do whatever you need to do. Well, they ended up buying 3 years later in 2023, and that same house was almost 200 grand more. So not only was it more, but the rate was actually a little bit higher too. So not only did they feel the price tag, but they also felt the interest rate, unfortunately. Right now with the height in interest rates, that payment can really get up there. So we should evaluate your budget, see how much you can actually afford comfortably, and then also your long-term plans. The next thing we should talk about is the market. Every market's a little bit different. We have a market that usually is the last one that would get hit in like a downturn, but also is one of the first ones that will pop back. So it could mean you could go down a couple counties south or west or east and get a little bit better deal. You might not have that much growth in equity, but it fits your budget and it makes it affordable for you. So and that's what I really like to hear. Some markets might have a really strong spring market, and some might just be pretty strong year round. You can go back and look at last year's data to kind of target your zones that you're looking for and figure out when was their height of their market. Now, I'm not going to say that's 100% accurate, but history typically repeats itself. So if we've evaluated your budget, we can find a house that fits your needs and wants, and you can afford it. That's usually a green light to go for it. Because here's the deal. If rates come down, you can refinance. If rates go up, you're at least locked in and you can still afford that house. Rates jumping from 5 to say 6%, you're going to feel that a lot more than houses dipping just $5,000 in price. But I never want you to buy off just basing the interest rates are going to drop at some point. They will. Over the history of interest rates, they will drop at some point, but you got to hang in there and not be house poor getting to that point. If you listen to every lender, almost every 6 months, they say, oh, rates should be dropping at this point. Well, here they are. And that's where I go back to when I first said, even experts aren't 100% accurate. Virginia is just a very diverse real estate market. So we have cities, we have suburban areas, we have farmland, and every one of them's got their own little nuance on their market on how it trends. So there's a couple scenarios definitely. If you don't have these, maybe you should think about renting or just staying at where you're at. Maybe you're still working on your credit score. We'd like to get you up to get you a better interest rate. Maybe you don't feel that comfortable with your job and you're thinking about a job change. Or maybe you're working on some debt and you're working about knocking out one of your last big payments. And then last is those future plans we talked about. If you're thinking about moving to a different state or something in the next 1 to 3 years, maybe renting might not be a bad idea. That way you're not locked in here if you decide you want to go to a different area. But again, if you budget well, you can afford it, you feel good at your job, you plan on living here for a long term, because real estate is a long-term investment, then it really comes down to this. Time in the market will beat trying to time the market every time. Ultimately, real estate's not one size fits all. While it's good to know the trends, it's good to know where we think the market's heading, it really comes down to how comfortable you are in your own finances and your long-term goals. If you need a second opinion, I'm always here for you. If you want to talk to a lender, try to get your finances straight. And if you're a seller and you're curious about things that could improve your price before we list the house, check out my last video here on pre-listing prep. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.